So join me today as we take this coffee table and repurpose it into a shadow box for the wall for displaying my woodworking tools from the 18th century. So the glass used to fit right here in this groove, and since I can't have the glass on the front, there's no way to fasten it. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut that lip off and then rounding it over, and on the back side I'll make a groove for a piece of sheet glass to go into that. So I've set the saw 3 1/8 inch, which is right to there. What I will do is I will start this up, I'll make sure this is flush with it, and I will lower the table into the blade so that it cuts right along the edge as close up to the end as I can get, and then later on I will come back and trim that up to make it look nice. So here goes nothing. So I've made a couple different passes. You just saw the final pass for routing that over. So I'm good on that. So now I will sand this down and prepare to make a groove on the back for the glass to actually fit into from the back side. So as you can see, got the groove now for putting the glass in. Now I just got to trim the corners and sand it flat. Alright, now I just got to trim up those corners. This is what it's going to look like when it's hanging on the wall. It's just temporarily held up here. The putting a light strip that you can see right here right along the base but behind the front, and then I'll also put one up here at the top that will light the interior of this up. Glass will go in here and it'll be hung on the wall probably with a French cleat system, So what I have to do now is I have to put some sort of hinge mechanism here on the top so that it'll open up. Gravity will hold it down. And then I have to Wassell oil it, which is the oil that was originally used with it. So I've returned from the hardware store with glass for this. I went to about 3 or 4 different places to try to find a store that actually had glass greater than 36 inches. It's 3/32 inch thick glass, so it's very thin. It would be great for this as lightweight, but I just have to keep in mind that it is thin. So I'm going to unwrap that and see if it fits. Hopefully this will slide right on in. And it does. Perfect. Looks like that's going to work out just great. So I'm very happy. So now that I have all this in here, you know it fits, I'm going to take this and put it away and keep it safe, get it all finished, and then I'll put it together at the very end when I'm hanging it up. So we're on the second day of this project, and I'm going to be cutting 2 strips for a French cleat for the wall. One's going to be a little over 2, and one's going to be a little over 3 inches wide. Then I will add the 45 to it when I change the plate in order to make that happen. So this board's a little bit longer than necessary, but I'll go ahead and just cut the strips out of this. It's about 1/2 inch. I usually do this with 3/4 of an inch thick, but I don't want it to be that far out from the wall, so I'm going to go with 1/2. And then I'll cut a couple little spots for the bottom to let it hold out from the wall so it's level on the wall. So here we go. So now I have the top on the base, and at the very top here I'm going to take these hinges. I'm going to mount it here. That'll allow it to open up, and then of course gravity will just hold it down in place. I may put a magnet at the bottom to hold it. Who knows, but I think this will work for now. You can also see here that the French cleat system has been added along the back. And I'll show you how that attaches when we get into the room, but for now let's put on the hinges. So you can see the hinge here has been screwed to what was the leg and the top, allowing the top to open and close. So now I'm checking the current. As you can see, it's 0.4 amps at 9 volts. And you can see the lights are all laid out. I'm trying to figure out which transformer to use. I have a box of old transformers and trying to go through them all just to figure out the right one. The other thing is I'm going to run this at 9 volts instead of 12 volts because it uses a lot less power and it also produces a lot less heat. And since this is enclosed, running at 9 volts, it'll only require like 6 watts of power, so very little heat will be produced. So you can see the wiring running along the back and then down a long cord to a 9 volt transformer, and that 9 volt produces just enough light to be able to light it up properly. So here's the final product minus the glass. You can see the difference when you light it up. It's very nice and bright in here, so it'll display things. I think I'm going to go with some black velvet on the inside on a board that I'll mount the tools, and that way I can wire it all to it, and then I'll slide the board into it. So I've already been to Home Depot again, and I got a piece of 2x4 Luan, and I'm going to cut it to the inside dimensions of the shadow box, wrap it with black velvet, and then I will actually attach everything to this, and that will be an insert that actually goes in the shadow box. Alright, so now you can see that I've actually notched the corners on each side. It fits fine, so I'm just going to use a tack cloth to clean it up and then spray adhesive and put the velvet on top. So the next part of this is to lay everything out and then mark the locations so that when you remove the tool you have areas marked for running the wire that will hold them to the board. So now you can see all the pieces have been put on here, all held on by fishing line. Here's the panel all ready to go, and I'm going to take it into the room and try to put it into the cabinet. So here's the final product at my desk. The shadow box is directly over my computer desk, and makes it a nice place to work and cruise the internet. Thanks for watching.